weal, peace and tranquility of the island, and the uniting and knitting together of the hearts of all persons and estates within the same. In true Christian love and charity, one towards another, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Be seated, please. This meeting of the Honorable Senate for February the 2nd, 2024 is called to order. Before we begin the business of the day, Senators Sinclair and Allen seek concurrence of the members of the Senate to join us by Zoom. All in favor? Against? Senator Allen?
Good morning, Mr. President.
Senator Sinclair? Not yet there. Welcome, Senator Allen. Nice to see you as usual.
Thank you.
Members we have with us today, persons enrolled at the Heart Trust Bethel Adult Education. What a pleasure it is to see you all today. And I hope that you get an understanding of the fact that the Parliament is your Parliament. As Jamaicans, it is part of your history, part of the democratic process that you are involved in. And anytime you want to come and visit us, you are welcome. So thank you very much for coming. Travel safely going home, and we look to see you again soon. So anytime you want a day, you want to skip a day, you come and spend the day with us. So thank you very much for coming. We appreciate you always. Thank you. Statements by ministers. Bills brought from the Honorable House of Representatives. Petitions. 1 minute, please. Oh, I'm so sorry. Members of the Heart Trust Bethel Adult Education, you are the people that distract me and cause me to miss something, you know. So I'm going to start again. Statements by ministers. Announcements.
Laid on the table of the Senate are the following. Minister Paper number 07 of 2024 entitled National Correctional Services Policy for Jamaica, dated January 16, 2024. Annual reports of the Jamaica Racing Commission for the financial years 2015-2016 and 2016-2017, along with their related minister paper numbered 08 of 2024 under the said title. Annual reports of the Jamaica Racing Commission for the financial years 2017-2018 and 2018-2019, along with their related minister paper numbered 09 of 2024. Annual report of the Tourism Enhancement Fund for the financial year 2022-2023. Annual report of the Tourism Product Development Company for the financial year 2020-2021. Annual report and audited financial statements of the National Housing Trust for the financial year 2022-2023. Green Paper numbered 01 of 2024 entitled National Correctional Services Policy for Jamaica. Auditor General's Department Certified Appropriation Accounts, Head 15,000 for the Office of the Prime Minister for the year 2020-2021. And finally, by way of information, we also have the report of the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee on its deliberations on the fourth supplementary estimates for the financial year ending March 31, 2024, and the Jamaica Public Body's third supplementary estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year ending March 2024, and also the report from the Standing Finance Committee of the whole House of Representatives, consisting of all members of the House, on the fourth supplementary estimates for the financial year ending 2023-2024, and the Jamaica Public Body's third supplementary of estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year ending March 2024. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Bills brought from the Honorable House of Representatives. Petitions. Papers. Reports from committees. Notices of motions given orally. Questions and answers to questions. One minute, Senator Morris. I recognize you from a seat other than your own. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. I'd tabled some questions in my name, and the leader of government business had indicated that at the time I could ask some follow-up questions, and I have some follow-up questions that I would like to engage.
And you wanted to ask them orally, or they have been submitted?
I've submitted to the Honorable Minister.
What I'm going to do, Senator Morris, if you don't mind, the Minister has indicated that she is in a meeting this morning. If she has the capacity to come, based on the outcome of that meeting, then I would recommit the situation. I would recommit questions and answers to questions. If she's not available at the end of the presentation by Senator Fitz-Henley, then I will recommit the matter anyway, and you can have that discussion then, because she's trying to get here.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President.
So, Leader, I also recognize you from a seat other than your own, just to indicate that, as I pointed out, it is possible that the Leader will be here to deal with the questions raised by Senator Dr. Morris. So if it is that she does manage to make it, then we'll recommit the item, questions and answers to questions, and we will recommit the item anyway in case she's not here, so Senator Morris can indicate what his position is. I'm going to also note that the item, notices of motions given orally, may be recommitted as well. I'd ask the clerk not to take that a particular motion, because I didn't know what was happening with the questions. So we would take note that questions and answers to questions, that item, and notices of motions given orally will both be recommitted as they both depend on the presence of the Leader of the House, Minister Johnson Smith. Motions that may be made at the commencement of public business requiring notice. Motions relating to the sitting of the Senate. Motions for leave to introduce bills. The presentation of bills without the leave of the Senate first obtained. Public business. Minister Hill.
Thank you, Mr. President. After a series of very exciting and informative debates, we now come to the place where we have today the closing contribution of the State of the Nation debates by Senator Abka Fitz-Henley. So,
yes, sorry, go ahead, Senator.
Mr. President, your turn to recognize Senator Abka Fitz-Henley to finish the State of the Nation debates.
Thank you very much, Senator Abka Fitz-Henley. I'm sorry, just before you start, welcome, Senator. And Senator Sinclair, I understand, has now joined us. Senator Sinclair?
Yes, Mr. President. In fact, I was on when you had, I got the permission from the Senate to join by this method, but I omitted to have turned on my audio. But I'm here. Thank you.
I'm very disturbed with both yourself and Senator Janice Allen and Senator Morris, because I was in the Republic yesterday for an event, and I didn't see any of you at all. I don't know.
You didn't look very closely enough. You didn't look in my direction.
I didn't look in your direction at all. I didn't see, not even Senator.
No.
Although I saw some.
Myself, sir, I don't sit at the back of the room. I sit at the front, sir.
Although I saw some ladies walking around in some T-shirts converted into short skirts with your picture on the front of it, I didn't actually see you. Thank you very much for joining us online, Senator Allen and Senator Sinclair. I recognize you, Senator Abka Fitz-Henley.
Thank you, sir. The honor is mine to, as our acting Senate leader just indicated, assume a perpendicular stance and a generally stationary gait on the occasion of the closing of this iteration of the State of the Nation debate. There's never a time, sir, that I embark upon a leg of my journey in public life that I don't acknowledge the wondrous work of our Creator, as you would say, sir, the Prince of Peace, by whom all that is good is possible. I want to acknowledge as well my family, who has given me the time to participate in public life. And colleagues, as we draw to the close of the parliamentary year, allow me to not in a perfunctory, but in a genuine manner indicate appreciation to all our parliamentary staffers, including our now acting clerk, Colleen Lowe, whose efforts has no doubt made working in this parliament a more comfortable endeavor. I want to acknowledge you as well, Mr. President, for your guidance over the years and being always willing to show up when national service comes a-calling. Acknowledge as well our Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, who continues to work hard to create an environment that ensures that every Jamaican, from whatever cohort of society they may hail, has the opportunity to actualize the Jamaican dream, one characterized by hope and prosperity. A few weeks ago, Senator Bunting, the opposition Senate leader, who I note could not bring himself to, as is perfunctory, refer to by name the man who on paper is his political boss in his opening comments. But he made a rather flippant comment in a blague manner, indicating that members of the administration are in the habit of calling the name of our Prime Minister and the work that he's doing. And I had a wry smile when he did so. I said to the opposition senator via you, sir, that we do so because we are confident and proud of the fact that we have a Prime Minister and a leader who has been taking the appropriate steps to better the lives of the Jamaican people. And we're not bashful about speaking about that. Good leadership of a caring administration attending to the issues facing our people matter. This administration is well on the way to achieving positive outcomes for the people of Jamaica. We take pride in the fact that unlike what obtains on the other side, where you have an opposition leader who has boasted about done of their money already and wanted to govern Jamaica with a set of toppanaris around him, we take pride that we have a PM who has adopted a stance of humility as he gives service to this country, advancing a multi-dimensional agenda which includes peace and prosperity, and turning on the water in the pipes of Jamaicans who have been dispossessed for too long, expanding allocation programs, which assists society's most vulnerable, and building more and more houses for the poor people of Jamaica. We speak confidently about the work of this administration and the leader of the executive arm of the Jamaican state. I believe it may be a bit too late to wish all and sundry a happy new year, but I think it's in good order to wish Jamaicans a productive rest of 2024. In fact, as I consider what could make Jamaica a better place going forward, I wish to issue a challenge to every Jamaican, including those in the private and the public sector. The challenge is ask yourself, what can I do to be more productive this year and onwards, to turn out better outcomes in a shorter space of time? A call for the creation of plans and strategies towards achieving this and acting on it. Ask yourself, how can my rate of output be increased and maximized? How can I be more efficient? And Senator Gale, although I'm calling for personal accountability, I also apply this call to middle managers and senior managers across the public and the private sector. I urge them to put in place measures to incentivize and motivate workers to be more efficient in their use of time and to increase their output. I genuinely believe that if key sectors led by the captains of industry across society took on this challenge, that Jamaica would be a better place. Jamaica will be a better place in 2024, a more productive place. And, you know, the statistics indicate that since the year 2000, Jamaica's labor productivity has decreased on average by 0.6% annually. And this administration is playing its part in the productivity push via reformation of the public sector, digitization of services, the introduction of enterprise systems for HR teams, and measures such as the move to make more buses available in order to cut the amount of time spent in commute. We are seized of the need to increase the productivity of the nation, and we're taking tangible steps in this regard. Allow me to commend my colleagues on both sides who participated in this debate, including Senator Sinclair, who articulated some challenges associated with crime fighting and violence in Jamaica and put forward some practical solutions. I certainly concur with Senator Sinclair when he said a message must be sent to criminals. If you do the time, you will do the crime. The senator also intimated that in Jamaican society, too often, too many excuses are made for criminals. I concur, that is true. And while on that matter, allow me to congratulate the men and women of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, who, under the leadership of the Commissioner and also our hands-on Deputy Police Commissioner in charge of crime, Fitz-Bailey, have been doing their utmost to keep Jamaica safe. Certainly my perception, sir, is that based on the anti-gang cases and the number of convictions achieved, criminals are being made to understand that if they commit a crime, the possibility of getting caught has increased to levels that they have never been in many years. In considering the content of the State of the Nation debate, I believe Senator Don Webby was also spot on in his analysis of the major issues facing our nation, including security and the travails of the Jamaican economy dating back decades ago. It is good, as the senator noted, that Jamaica is in a better place now. And I think all well-thinking Jamaicans will agree with Senator Webby, our eminent private sector leader and lawmaker, that never again should policies of the 1990s which wrecked the Jamaican economy be pursued. I also wish to associate with the senator's call for the private sector to put more investment in initiatives which support sports and culture, and also the call made germane to the Greenfield Stadium in Trelawney, which is in a state of disrepair. This debate benefited from thoughtful contributions from Senators Golding Campbell, Senator Morris, that's Gabriella Morris and Floyd Morris, Senator Williams, Senator Fraser Binns, and Senator Crawford, all who have, from time to time, demonstrated the courage to bring to the floor of this Parliament issues which are not often spoken about in the public domain, but are important in terms of how they affect sections of the Jamaican population. I believe Senator Samiuda's grasp of the environment portfolio and his move to highlight steps being taken by this administration to safeguard the well-being of our planet, and his articulation of major initiatives being pursued to ensure that more Jamaicans have access to water was of tremendous credit to this debate. However, there are a few points advanced, there are a few narratives, I should say, put forward by the opposition, which I am compelled to directly address. We dismiss the notion advanced by Senator Bunting that this administration is slow in learning how to fight crime. That's not true. That's false. As a matter of fact, it is not a coincidence, but due to strategic and careful planning this year, that Jamaica achieved the lowest level of serious crime seen in the island for the past 22 years. Down by 10.7%. Much more to be done, but steady gains are being made. The senator was misguided in his comments because it is this administration that, unlike when he was in office, has made legacy moves to lay the foundation for a sustainable decline in violent crimes. It is this administration that has made unprecedented investment in digitizing systems used by the security forces, increasing the intelligence capabilities of the police and the army, expanding numbers in the JCF, fine-tuning and enhancing the training of the security forces. And from the time when Bobby Montague was National Security Minister, we made major and unprecedented investment in purchasing vessels aimed at protecting Jamaica's borders. Soon come to you, Senator Morris. And contrary to what Senator Bunting suggested, we have invested heavily in social intervention programs. We have. I bring to you your attention, sir, the Live Good campaign, which is a brainchild of the National Security Minister, Dr. Horace Chang, and the social intervention aspect of ZOSO operations, interventions aimed at showing perpetrators of violent crime and potential malefactors that there's a better way. This administration has invested millions of dollars in social intervention programs. The senator is misguided when he has indicated otherwise. And you know, the Prime Minister has recently indicated that plans are on stream to bringing dispute resolution as a subject area in schools. I believe the sooner this is done, the better. Suffice to say, the administration of Prime Minister Andrew Holness understands the complex nature of the problem of crime and violence. And even as we have achieved a significant reduction in violent crime year on year, we have and are taking credible steps to fix this problem over the medium to long term. I therefore dismiss as false and specious the notion advanced by the opposition Senate leader that this government and its leadership have been tardy in putting in place policies to fight crime. In fact, You know, Senator Morris, I find it quite ironical that this suggestion has come from Senator Bunting, who, when he had his chance at the wicket, attended upon a platform and tearfully lamented that no matter the effort he and his team put in, the gains were slow and low. Jamaicans will recall the then Security Minister sobbed that intervention perhaps is needed beyond what he felt he was capable of as a human being. Jamaicans will recall that those comments led to concern about the then minister, who as opposition spokesman now parades as the ultimate problem solver. It led to concerns that he was parading the white flag, and it led to calls for him to step down. But colleagues, I can say this. This administration, under the leadership of Prime Minister Andrew Holness, we are not given to, in our words or deeds, posture in a manner which suggests that we are surrendering to perpetrators of violent crime. We're not weary. We're not scared of criminals. We are committed to defeating them and bringing a sense of safety and security to Jamaica. Senators move to resort to name-calling such as who is slow and who is not, represented confirmation of the opposition under whose watch murders increased from 400 in and around the time I was born in 1989 to 1,670, that they are in fact bankrupt about ideas how to move Jamaica forward. Lest we forget, this is an opposition which has voted often to end states of public emergencies, which regardless of Senator Bunting's propaganda, has resulted, the statistics show that this enhanced security measure has resulted in a number of lives being saved in each and every area it has been declared. During this debate, there was a general indication of concern from opposition senators about the state of the public medical care system in Jamaica. In fact, Senator Gabriela Morris submitted, and I quote, that our hospitals are under-resourced, the conditions are not good, people are waiting too long to get medical attention, and there have been outbreaks here and there, end quote. And this sort of sentiment was shared by other opposition senators. In fact, I note Senator Brown moved to sharply criticize the very system which he had earlier commended for saving his life. I don't say much more on that beyond that. I suppose that's the nature of politics as practiced by some in Jamaica. But we're happy that our colleague didn't have to fly overseas for treatment, but was made whole by the good work of our medical practitioners here in Jamaica who form part of the system. We're indeed happy about that. The larger point, though, regarding the concerns about the medical care system and the state is that these problems did not pop up overnight, but the administration has been working assiduously and making gains on the way to fixing the issues. And Dr. Christopher Tufton and his team will get them fixed. In fact, if we're being honest, or to use a word the minister likes to use, to be frank, the fact of the matter is that the system has suffered from decades of neglect, including the 18 years when the People's National Party had charge of government. I recall, Mr. President, in my younger days, being in the St. Anne's Bay Hospital in the 1990s, observing patients who had no space to operate, no space to be comfortable, dilapidated walls, lack of equipment that caused many to lose their lives, including a little girl who did not get attention because no nebulizer was available and no oxygen. So it's an image that has stuck with me for a long time because it was the first time I was witnessing quietus involving a child. Fact of the matter is lack of equipment and investment in the medical care system over many decades have cost lives because bad policies of the yesteryears, in particular the 1990s, did not allow us to make that investment. But the fact is this government has managed the economy so carefully and so well that this is no longer so. We're not detained about what transpired before. It is a sensitivity to the plight of the people who seek medical attention on a daily or weekly basis, why Dr. Christopherson and his team have invested over $14 billion in upgrading Western Jamaica's premier medical institution, the Cornwall Regional Hospital, which had suffered from 2 decades of neglect under the PNP administration and had fallen into significant and, in some instances, a dangerous state of disrepair. It is the sensitivity to the plight of people who seek medical attention, where Christopherson and his team have invested over $6 billion in doing expansion work at a number of facilities, including the Spanish Town Hospital and the University Hospital of the West Indies, and why the administration of Prime Minister Holness has pumped millions of dollars into building Type 5 clinics across the country, including Painland, and to assist the good people of Portmore, our soon-to-be parish, number 15. And we are upgrading approximately a dozen clinics across the country because we care about the level of comfort of the citizens of Jamaica who need to seek medical attention. In fact, this administration is aware that the children are our future, and we must take tangible steps to protect them and secure their well-being. And that's why we have moved to build the first hospital ever in Western Jamaica that is dedicated to offering care to an important cohort of our society, our children. That project, I'm happy to advise the Parliament, is far advanced. And as I said, Senator Morris, the concern about the current state of the medical care system is reasonable, and the amount of time people have to wait in order to be processed. But on that point, that's why the administration has moved to launch a compassionate care program in hospitals island-wide. This program is geared towards enhancing the psychological wellness of patients, and importantly, will reduce waiting time. Dr. Christopherson and his team are working, and we will get the issues affecting the medical care system fixed. On the point about outbreaks in hospitals, I must admit that I was a bit surprised that Senator Morris, who opened the debate on behalf of the opposition, entered this into the narrative. The fact is, outbreaks happen in hospitals across the world. But again, this administration has moved to cauterize the number of casualties. And importantly, we have been open and honest with the people of Jamaica. I recall in my former years, as a member of a particular, what's referred to as a particular estate, there was a matter of the dead baby scandal. That's how it was referred to, colloquially speaking. And when you would call the various ministers of the then administration, they wouldn't answer their phone. Christopherson answers his phone, and he tells the people of Jamaica the truth regarding what is happening. And I tell you what, the Jamaican people, I have no doubt, will not forget that when the country sought answers, the then PNP administration and then Minister Ferguson were not accessible, could not be found. And they had the audacity to tell the country that these were not babies in the real sense. A shameful comment. Yes, Senator Samuel, shameful. These were not babies in the real sense. An insensitive comment you're unlikely to hear Minister Tufton utter, because we understand that the people of Jamaica have moved to abandon that callous and insensitive approach to to the fears and the pain of the people which stained and characterized the former PNP administration. And I won't spend much time on this, but Senator Bunting, during his opening, took a jab at Ministers Bartlett and Tufton regarding their efforts to communicate with the people of Jamaica. And why I won't spend much time on it, sir, is because I saw a few articles online giving coverage to the unfortunate comments by the opposition Senate leader and erstwhile security minister. The majority of the comments below the article indicated that, imagine here's a man who featured as the worst performer when in government and in opposition, seeking to decry efforts of people on this side in communicating with the people of Jamaica. And the word bad mind cropped up often in the comments. So I won't spend much time on that because I am satisfied that the people of Jamaica see the opposition spokesman's posture for what it is. What I will say, though, is this. No amount of attempted belittling will stop this administration from communicating with the people of Jamaica about what we are doing on their behalf. Concerning the Jamaican economy, concerns featured heavily in this iteration of the State of the Nation debate. As a matter of fact, one opposition senator posited, we live in an inequitable nation. The economy has grown minimally and it is not being felt. That comment is not entirely true. In fact, much of it is false. The fact of the matter, Senator Webb, is that the Jamaican economy, as you would well know, has grown steadily for 10 consecutive quarters under this administration. And the latest data indicate that the economy grew by 2.1% for the third quarter ended September last year. For the first half of last year, the Jamaican economy grew by 2.9%. And during the calendar years 2021 and 2022, the economy grew by 4.6% and 5.22%. Trying to avoid the name calling today. Senator Hill. Yes. The allegation was that we live in an inequitable nation, that the economy has grown minimally. The fact of the matter is that this administration has presided over the most major restoration in the Jamaican economy from the impact of COVID-19, where the economy expanded by an all-time high of 14.20% in the second quarter of 2021. Few countries across the globe can highlight such positive numbers during and post-COVID-19. Jamaica's story of economic restoration is not to be talked down, and we should not seek to make specious allegations concerning. It is a matter that every Jamaican should be proud of. I wish to address directly a particular narrative that has entered the public domain concerning the Jamaican economy. There are people who say, manage the economy well, but nobody now feel it. There's that narrative that has entered the public domain, primarily driven by the opposition. And I'm going to dispel that notion using one variable. When the opposition was in office, when the People's National Party administration had superintendence of the country's affairs, the unemployment rate in Jamaica was 13.5%. The government of Jamaica, under the visionary leadership of Prime Minister Holness, set about putting in place strategic policies to create more jobs for Jamaicans. I recall when the Prime Minister created a ministry which had among its mandate expanding the Jamaican economy and creating jobs. Some people scoffed at it, some people laughed. But look, we have achieved a positive outcome. The Prime Minister took charge of that ministry, and it therefore comes as no surprise to us that under this administration, just this week, the Statistical Institute of Jamaica indicated that unemployment is at a record low of approximately 4.2%. Approximately 140,000 people who did not have jobs when we came to office now have jobs. Yes. Yes. I put it to you, sir. I put it to you that this is strong evidence that leadership and innovative policy making matter, and this administration is achieving positive outcomes for the people of Jamaica. And in addressing the notion of nobody now feel it, the agencies that monitor these things tell us that on average, every job holder supports approximately 2.5 to 2.9 people. That's just under 400,000 Jamaicans who have felt directly the impact of the administration's good management of the Jamaican economy. So we don't take a boastful posture. Our posture is one of humility. We accept that much more is to be done and will be done, but I dismiss as disingenuous and false and misleading the notion being advanced by the opposition that manage the economy well, but nobody now feel it. Colleagues, today we mash down that narrative as false, specious, and untrue. Lie. I was trying to avoid using that L word, Senator Gale, but if you must.
It just slipped out.
Yeah, yes, we mash down that lie. I think, colleagues, sections of the Jamaican population are tired of a debate about who must take credit for gains made in their interest.
Thank you very much. Senator Morris? Speaker's time has expired.
President, the Speaker's time having been expired may it be extended sufficient for him to complete his presentation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Morris. The question is that the Speaker be permitted additional time to complete his presentation. Those in favor? Against? Thank you very much, Senator. Just touch your microphone again for me, please. Thank you. Proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues, and thank you, Senator Morris. Very kind of you. I was indicating that sections of the Jamaican population, I believe, are tired of the narrative about who has achieved gains on their behalf and who must take credit. But on the matter of the Jamaican economy, Senator Bunting made a comment that I find quite remarkable, and he's not here, but I had proposed to tell him to his face that I found it quite barefaced. Quite barefaced, and therefore the parliamentary record must be corrected. The senator said the PNP did the heavy lifting in stabilizing the Jamaican economy, and to their credit, the JLP is continuing the good work. This business, colleagues, about PNP starting the heavy lifting is not true. It's false. It's a matter of public record, as a matter of fact, that the destructive PNP policies of the 1990s wrecked the Jamaican economy, including increasing the national debt by thousands of percentage points, devalued the dollar, affecting the purchasing power of Jamaicans, and destroyed thousands of small, medium-sized, and large businesses. Entities associated with the senator and his Topanari's people did well during a time that the majority of hard-working Jamaican people suffered. Some lost their lives. Some lost their savings, and affected by the wicked policies of the time, some were driven to suicide. It's a matter of public record. And it hurts me to speak about it, Senator Webby, because I grew up during that phase. And it was a time when I doubted the future of my country. And that's a feeling I didn't like. But I'm happy to indicate that feeling has dissipated. I'm confident about the future well-being of Jamaica. But in correcting the parliamentary record, the record must indicate that it was the Golding administration that started the quote-unquote heavy lifting. Yes, I recall. when we were managing the NDX and getting buy-in from the private sector. You would recall that, Senator Webby? Thereby placing Jamaica on a trajectory towards achieving economic stability. I recall then Minister Shaw passing fiscal discipline and accountability measures in order to restore the Jamaican economy. So no amount of spinning or misinformation will change the fact that the work to begin the restoration of the Jamaican economy began in and about 2007 under the Golden administration. And on that point, I won't belabor it, on that point, Senator Morris, as I said, I soon come to you. On that point, any work done to restore fiscal discipline between 2012 and 2016, I am of the view should not be boasted about by the opposition, but given what transpired before, it should be spoken about contritely and with humility as long overdue penance for the pain heaped on the backs of the Jamaican people by wicked policies of the 1990s. I'm going to say that again. Any work done to restore fiscal discipline in that phase, 2012 to 2016, should not be boasted about by the opposition, but given what transpired before, it should be spoken about contritely and with humility as long overdue penance for the pain heaped on the backs of the Jamaican people by the iniquitous policies of the 1990s. On the matter of the national debt, I want to encourage the administration to ignore the call by the opposition leader to slow the pace of debt reduction. I believe that that's an unwise call, but I'm not surprised that it has emanated from the opposition leader, given what he and his political allies, well, how his political allies conducted the affairs of the country in the yesteryears. The opposition leader's predecessor in the post, Dr. Peter Phillips, is in fact right when he said the greatest gift that this generation can pass on to the future is low debt. I urge my administration, or the administration of which I am a part, to ignore the opposition leader. And I urge the Jamaican people to take note of the ill-advised posture which the opposition has adopted towards debt reduction. 10 years ago, colleagues, in the year 2013, when the opposition had charge of government, Jamaica was the third most indebted country in the world. Today, I'm pleased to advise the Parliament that we are now at 52, our debt lower than quite a few of our powerful international partners. I won't name drop them, but that is an achievement that the people of Jamaica can take pride in. The state of the nation is such that we have made major moves in paying back who we owe, and we have allowed ourselves greater fiscal space to operate because the monies we have to spend on debt servicing have declined significantly. This means that we have more money to spend on issues affecting the people of Jamaica. It's important that these connections are made when we speak about debt reduction. I wish to comment on a matter that has been in the public domain, on the matter of the National Housing Trust. It came to my attention this week that Senator Floyd Morris, called a media conference and supported by his colleagues, demanded the resignation of a senior officer of the Housing Trust concerning arrangements made with a holding company after a project did not materialize as intended. Allegations were made concerning the existence of an NDA and suggestions that arrangements arrived at in lieu of the project not materializing put contributors of the NHT at a loss. It has since emerged that those allegations are strangers to the truth. They don't have a credible fundament In fact, the information that has emerged as true is that details of the arrangement were placed in a public document and that an additional $20 million is to be recouped. In some jurisdictions, sir, that sort of misinformation would have led to the opposition spokesman being called to step down for misleading the public. And you know, that might be an appropriate step for him to take, but given that he's new to the shadow portfolio, given that he's new to the portfolio and may cite exuberance, not youthful, but exuberance, I think at minimum, Senator Morris, I believe you should apologize for what has emerged as misleading the country and impugning the reputation of hard-working custodians of the National Housing Trust. I know it's a political silly season, but we should not be willy-nilly. We should not be willy-nilly in impugning the reputation of hard-working public servants in Jamaica.
Not like that. No, you and I business. Not you and I. No drag me into it. Senator Fitz-Henley, you need my assistance, are you okay?
Oh, I think I'm managing well, sir.
Okay.
On the matter of contract workers, the abuse of fixed-term contracts ostensibly to avoid paying full-time employment benefits has been a sore point in Jamaica for many decades. The opposition reiterated this point during their contribution to the State of the Nation debate. I believe Senator Bunting spent some time on this matter. But a bit of context to this matter is that the Finance Minister, Dr. the Honorable Nigel Clark, in January and March of last year, had given a strong indication that the administration will seek to address this issue.
Yes.
Dr. Clark advised the lower house of Parliament that, and I quote, "Madam Speaker, it's a big problem. We did not start the problem, but this administration will begin and advance the process of addressing the problem. The government will move towards regularizing consistently renewed contract workers and moving them to structured employment." That's what Dr. Clark told the country via the Parliament last year. And this was not big talk by the minister. We have had a lot of big talk in the past by past officials regarding addressing this issue. But this government has begun the process of fixing the problem, which many administrations in the past have skirted. Only a few weeks ago, you see Senator Gale, a senior executive of the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Union, commended the administration for moving more than 10,000 workers from contractual arrangements to permanent employment. We're fixing the problem. Additionally, in October last year, the administration was able to announce 927 new permanent posts in the public sector for medical practitioners, thereby eliminating the archaic and counterproductive practice of employing doctors on contracts without them being assigned to a post. We're fixing the problem. And apart from these practical actions, Minister Hill, your colleague in the cabinet, the finance minister, has indicated publicly that the administration intends to come down hard on public sector entities which indulge in the practice of unfair contract employment, breaching the country's laws.
Here, here.
So,
I will identify them.
on the matter of unfair contract practices, it won't be fixed overnight in its totality. But on the issue of contract work, this is an issue the administration is seized of, and we have been taking steps to address it, and steady gains are being made in this regard. Steady gains. In her vibrant opening on behalf of the opposition, Senator Gabriela Morris, told us that we have an inequitable society. And this sort of sentiment has been adumbrated by opposition senators. Indeed, sir, you would recall that it was the erstwhile Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Most Honorable Edward Philip George Siaga, who spoke about a society of the haves and the have-nots. And we don't argue that society is equitable in all sectors. But again, we have been taking steps to make society more equitable and fair in its treatment of all citizens. It's the quest for equity, Senator Morris, why this administration took away the demand for tuition fees on all programs offered by the Hart NSTA Trust up to level 4, because we believe in giving people an opportunity to educate themselves and thereby putting them in a position to gain a skill and pursue employment, to earn for themselves and their families. And in that vein, I add my words of welcome to members of the skills vocation student population and teaching population who I believe are here with us. This government believes in increasing output from the vocational services and giving people a skill in order to enhance their lives and their families. It's an intentional move to bring society into a more equitable spectrum. Why, when the Jamaican people were facing a tough time during COVID-19, the Cabinet of Jamaica authorized Dr. Nigel Clark to issue billions of dollars in care packages, because we understand that the conscience of a society is best assessed by how we treat society's most vulnerable, in particular in crisis. It is a fervent belief that the Jamaican society must become a more equitable place, why Desmond Mackenzie's ministry has been on a drive to build scores of houses for the indigent section of our population. And it's the quest to make society a more equitable place, why the administration of Prime Minister Holness pursued a policy that when the PNP was in government, they said it couldn't work. The 1.5 income tax plan, putting more money in the pockets of low and middle income earners, increasing their purchasing power. And the Prime Minister has said that there's more to come in this regard, and we can believe him because he has done it before. It is the quest to make society a more equitable place, why the administration has put in place a policy which has facilitated the issuance of land titles to scores of poor people in this country. It's a tangible move towards an equitable society, which Senator Morris yearned for, why the administration has via the NHT, the Housing Agency of Jamaica, and the new social housing program built and issued more houses to Jamaican citizens than any administration has in a single term. Good leadership matters. There's more in 2024, and this administration has been achieving positive outcomes for the people of Jamaica. Yes. I'll give you one more on the point of equity. It's the fervent conviction that Jamaica must be a more equitable society. Why we don't interfere in the work of the police. But as a matter of policy, when this side is in office, law enforcement understands that if for argument's sake, you have a situation where the evidence suggests that a woman or a man who is politically connected murders a child, or if the evidence indicates that a politically connected man kills a woman, the police understand that they can operate without interference to bring them in, question them, and take appropriate steps to bring them to justice, whether they are a top analyst or not. That's the policy of this side. We don't interfere, but we believe in equity. I'm happy to have your concurrence on at least one matter. Senator Morris. On the matter of equity, I think a prudent observation would be for the opposition to consider the contract award process could do with some work. I'd agree if that call was made. And I recall hearing Senator Morris speak about equity in Jamaican society, the findings of a former contractor general. I recall it as well when I heard the opposition leader talk about don't have money already and want to govern with Topanaris. And when the opposition Senate leader spoke about rapacious capitalists, I saw much irony in those comments because when juxtaposed with the recent findings of the country's then leading anti-corruption agency, the Office of the Contractor General, which, as you may recall, Senator Morris investigated the Daring, Bunting, and Golding alleged sweetheart deal, a phrase that you used this week, I believe. The office said that contract was not awarded by an equitable process. As a matter of fact, the then leading anti-corruption agency described the massive deal as improper and highly irregular. The agency lamented that the contract was not issued via a process which included other potential bidders. And the agency described the award of the contract as, and I quote, that was issued by a process enabled by a corruption-enabling device, which can be used by unscrupulous individuals to direct multi-million-dollar contracts to connected and undeserving people, end quote. So, you know, I trust, as we consider making Jamaica a more equitable place, a point brought into the debate by Senator Morris and highlighted by Senator Bunting, yes, who chided rapacious capitalists. The people of Jamaica, I trust, will recall the damning findings of the Office of the Contractor General when it said that that infamous deal was consummated via a corruption-enabling device. We shouldn't forget our history as we seek to address current issues affecting the country. I agree with the call for equity. You know, and finally, on that point, I think it was good, and in a genuine manner, I think it was good that in opening the State of the Nation debate for the opposition, Senator Morris brought the issue of equity into the debate, because it has given me the opportunity, sir, to indicate that steps are being taken by this administration to make Jamaica a more equitable and fair society. I only find it unfortunate that in considering the matter of how equitable a society Jamaica is, the opposition senators did not recall or bring to the fore, they didn't bring to the fore the honest recollection of one of their own, the erstwhile MP for Central Kingston, Deacon Thwaites. Is he still a deacon? No? Deacon Thwaites. Yes. He confessed publicly, I quote, "The PNP has presided over the greatest transfer of resources from the poor to the rich since Jamaica emerged from slavery over 400 years ago." Colleagues, I put it to you that while this administration has taken tangible and visible steps to make Jamaica a more fair and equitable society, on the matter of a more equitable society, even among their own, there is a recognition that the People's National Party governments of the past and the current opposition do not have a leg to stand on. They don't. To segue to the matter of tourism, Senator Allen, I believe, commented on the issue. She has joined us virtually. I welcome her, and suggested that more of the masses should benefit from the tourism pie. More people who was described as the ordinary Jamaican. I believe the impression was given that nothing now go on for middle-income and low-income earners in the tourism sector. And again, while we adopt a posture of humility and indicate that we appreciate that more can be done, the suggestion that nothing now go on for low-income earners or middle-income earners in the tourism sector is not true. It's false. It's not true. not true. I state categorically that under the leadership of Ed Bartlett, and his capable team, including John Lynch, Delano Seaverwright, and Donovan White, there has been major inclusion of the ordinary man and woman in the tourism value chain. There has been. Why do I say so? Why do I say so? The administration has fine-tuned credit facilities at the Exim Bank for small tourism enterprises across Jamaica. That facilitation has seen tourism loan disbursements via the bank, which have surpassed 1 billion Jamaican dollars since last year. Small and medium-sized tourism stakeholders benefit directly from this initiative. Additionally, I'm pleased to reiterate to the Parliament that the Agri-Linkages Exchange Alex platform generated more than $1 billion for small farmers last year. $1 billion. On this platform, ordinary farmers with plots of land up to 5 acres can connect directly with hotels, and their produces are bought and they are paid directly. It's a matter of fact that under the leadership of Edmund Bartlett, small farmers are benefiting from the unprecedentedly booming tourism enterprise in Jamaica. It's a matter of fact. And this notion of not now go on is not true. I should mention the Tourism Workers Pension Scheme. Oh, yes. Which surpassed the first $1 billion in savings. That scheme surpassed, Senator Webby, the first $1 billion in savings within a year and a half of its implementation. Almost 9,000 Jamaicans have signed up beyond the plan. And tourism workers. It's designed to cover permanent, contractor, self-employed workers in the sector, age 18 to 59.
Answering their calls.
Indeed, this includes hotel workers, as well as people employed in connected sectors, craft vendors, tour operators, red cab porters, contract carriage operators, and workers at attraction sites. As we contemplate the state of the nation, colleagues, there is strong evidence that the administration is committed to inclusive expansion of the tourism sector, which continues to contribute massively to the well-being of the Jamaican economy, which was recently highlighted by the Financial Times. While some in Jamaica, while some stakeholders, perhaps for partisan gain, seek to talk down the gains made in terms of the Jamaican economy and the benefits passed on to the people, people overseas are recognizing the hard work of the government of Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Before I close, I wish to make a comment on a call for greater civility. Senator Morris made that call. I understand that politics is not a soft vocation, but from time to time, contentious words.
Dr. Morris is asking which one of the Morris.
The one with the doctorate, as far as I
He wants the credit to be given where it is due.
Unfortunately, it can't be given to him. But Senator Gabriela Morris made a call for a more equitable society.
But I know that it is one that Dr. Morris would echo,
Oh, indeed. I hope he'll support my comments, which will follow as well, sir. I believe he might. I believe he might. I'm willing to support this call, Senator Morris, this campaign for civility. I think we can all play a part in setting the tone for a more civilized society. But as I think about it, a good place to start regarding civility on the political platform would be if the opposition leader was made to understand that he should cease and desist from ordering his followers in jungle, as he did not too long ago, to step up and get wicked upon them. The utterance was made after the opposition leader advised the junglists that Labour right now give this up easy. Unbecoming comments, unbecoming of someone seeking office. And even as I hear advocacy for the office of the political ombudsman, Jamaicans will recall that when the then political ombudsman urged a retraction and an apology. The opposition leader said he'd do no such thing. A good move towards civility on the political platform, colleagues, would be if the opposition leader appreciates that his habit of alluding to grown adult Jamaicans as the little lady or the little boy Montague, that is unbecoming of someone who aspires to high office, and that he should immediately climb down from that attitude of condescension which marinates his utterances on the political platform. Senator Brown spoke about Chanel Francis. Yes, Chanel Francis is a woman who was scammed, but the Prime Minister intervened and ensured she got a house. Chanel, in our estimation, is not a little woman. She's among Jamaicans who are deserving of being given an environment where their big dreams can be accomplished. Not a little woman. And even as I agree with you, Senator Morris, concerning the call for civility on political platforms, and I understand that, as I said, politics is not soft sport. Words will be said. We're talking about a consistent pattern here. A good move towards civility would be if the opposition leaders advised that the image of him holding a chain over the head of a black man is not good. That he should apologize for it because 400 years of black people in bondage should not be mocked. The people of Jamaica and the struggle for emancipation, our African descendants should not be treated lightly or used as grist for political opportunity. In particular, not by people who are more likely familiar with the actions of the oppressor as opposed to the experiences of those who are painfully held in bondage. The call made by Senator Gabriela Morris in her contribution to the State of the Nation debate for civility on the political platform is a good call, and I encourage all of us, all of society, to support it. President, Senator Brown engaged in a bit of wishful thinking when he made the fallacious statement that the people are losing trust in the administration, which currently has superintendence of the country's affairs. The government of Prime Minister Andrew Holness, which was returned to office in the year 2020, has demonstrated that we are not a chaka-chaka administration, and we have been making steps, taking credible steps to do right by the people of Jamaica. We have the humility again to accept that more can be done. But our track record suggests that we are a government of substance. We are an administration which has carefully set the stage for our beautiful nation to make major strides and advance into the promised land of prosperity for all. We don't resile from that ambition. We're doing the work, and we will not listen to folks who say it's not possible. I trust that no noise, no doom and gloom proponent will distract the people of Jamaica from the fact that unlike years and years when budget time was feared under the PNP, which heaped billions of dollars of taxes on the backs of the Jamaican people. Yes. Unlike years and years when budget time was feared under the PNP, which heaped billions of dollars of taxes on the backs of the Jamaican people, it is the government of Prime Minister Andrew Holness that has presided over 6 consecutive years of no new taxes. It is this administration that has achieved the lowest unemployment rate in Jamaica's history. It is this administration that has said to employers via law, pay poor people more. We have doubled the minimum wage. Hear, hear. We have presided over the most significant public sector pay increase in Jamaica, where despite propaganda, it's not only the upper echelons of society or top anaris who have got increase. the direct remuneration monies paid to public sector workers, including plumbers, artisans, secretaries, junior doctors, nurses, and administrative staffers, have in many instances doubled. We have bolstered Jamaica's international credit ratings, thereby making it easier to navigate the global financial space as we do business on behalf of the people of Jamaica on the global stage. Our country, Minister Hill, as you would be aware, not too long ago recorded a sharp 30% increase in export earnings. And for the first time in decades, Jamaica achieved a positive balance of payments. This administration is one of substance. We have ensured that carefully crafted policies have caused a decline in the poverty rate from 21% in 2015, when we assumed office, to 16% in 2021. And projections are the poverty rate will continue to decline. We have ensured that there have been 10 consecutive quarters where the Jamaican economy has expanded, and where the country's U.S. savings account, the NIR, is at unprecedented levels, which offers a buffer against external shocks. And every week, or every other week, Minister Samiuda has been turning on water and supplying communities in need. Because the government of Jamaica understands that water is life, and we have a conviction that people must live in dignity and have access to the globe's most precious commodity. It is because we understand that sound economic management on a macro level is good, but people must feel it, why we have expanded payments under the PATH program. That is why we have increased pension payments to our senior citizens and made thousands of Jamaicans more pensionable. It is a commitment to making better the lives of the Jamaican people, why this administration, under the leadership of the PM, created a new social housing program, which has benefited over 180 Jamaican families. We know that for some times are tough. That's why the state of the nation is such that you have a caring administration that not too long ago cut JUTC fares. The state of the nation is such that we have an administration that not many people might recall presided over a cut in the GCT from 16.5%, because we understand, to 15%, a cut in the GCT from 16.5% to 15%, because we understand in building a caring economy, it's important that when Mas Tim or Miss Maisie go to the supermarket, they're not overtaken by inflation, which is a problem worldwide, but they can put food on their tables and provide for themselves and their families. This government, I put it to you, colleagues, has a compelling case whenever the time comes for the people of Jamaica to decide the future trajectory of who should govern Jamaica. These achievements are solid. Mr. Samiuda is a man familiar with the music industry. I believe even Russian would authorize us speaking about these achievements. They must be spoken about. And with the budget debate not far away, in terms of measures to respond positively to circumstances being faced by our people, I'm confident that there's more to come. Not because I have intel about what is to come in the budget. As a matter of fact, I don't. But I am certain that the Prime Minister inter pares of the Jamaican state, the Prime Minister of Jamaica and his team, understands that a key and solemn function of government is to put in place policies which make better the lives of the masses. We have created an environment to get it done on a larger scale, and I can assure Jamaica we will get it done. As I close, colleagues, on the occasion of my opening of the State of the Nation debate in June, a few weeks after my appointment to the Senate in May, I had said I have an abiding faith in the courage of the Jamaican people and their ability to overcome and to shine. That conviction has doubled twofold. Jamaicans are a gifted people. We are the country of Usain Bolt, Merlin Ottey, George Headley, Mike McCallum, and Chris Gale, who have all excelled and done Jamaica proud on the global stage. We're the island that has produced talented musicians including Marley, Tosh, Sean Paul, Agent Sasko, and the upcoming generation Valiant, TJ, Shensia, Spice, international producers including Don Corleone, Russian and Stephen the Genius McGregor, applying their trade on the international stage with distinction. Our cultural icons including Miss Lou, loom large on the world stage. Our business tycoons including Adam Stewart, Michael Lee Chin, P.B. Scott, Y.P. Seaton, and Don Webby. They can walk into any corporate forum across the world and hold their own and dominate and build on their tremendous work as pioneers of industry. We have a lot to be proud of. Similarly, and with equal fervor, we salute Jamaicans all across the country, those who are vending in our markets, our hospital workers, our nurses, doctors, and porters, our shopkeepers, those in the transportation sector, the bauxite industry, our tourism workers, our higglers, our household workers across the country, our solid waste management workers who perform the very important function of ensuring garbage is collected. These are some of the important people who keep the nation afloat. We are proud of their effort. We salute them, and we recognize their contribution as valiant. I do not resile from being hopeful about the future of Jamaica land we love. And I'm confident, Mr. President, that at the appropriate time and on the day of reckoning, our people will be guided by the good book that says inter alia, be alert and of sober mind. Avoid the temptation because your enemy, the devil, lurks, making false promises and looking for someone to devour. Yes. Forget the former things. Don't dwell on the past, but trust in the Lord, for he will guide your choices. He will place your footsteps, for he is your shield. I am confident, Senator Braham, I see you have called for an encore. I am confident that the people of Jamaica will be guided by the good book which says inter alia, be alert and of sober mind. Avoid temptation because your enemy, the devil, lurks, making false promises, looking for someone to devour. Forget the former things. Don't dwell on the past, but put your trust in the Lord, for he will guide your choices. He will place your footsteps, for he is your shield. Thank you, sir. God bless you, and may God bless Jamaica.
Senator Fitz-Henley. Senator Fitz-Henley, you are going to put a question in relation to your motion.
The question, sir, is that the motion be approved.
Thank you very much, Senator Fitz-Henley. The motion tabled by Senator Fitz-Henley on the 16th of June 2023, which reads, be it resolved that the Senate thank His Excellency the Governor General for his gracious speech delivered to both Houses of Parliament on the 14th day of February 2023, approve the plans and programs outlined in his speech, and place on record its appreciation for the performance of the government during the financial year 2022 to 2023. Those in favor? Against? Ayes have it. Thank you. And just to say, thank you, Senator Fitz-Henley, for your opening and closing your contribution to the debate and to the contribution of all the members of the Senate who contributed in this year's State of the Nation debate. It would be remiss of me not to say that I was most happy with the presentation of Senator Lambert Brown, who was able to come and speak to us. I think it was the week before last, or was it last week? So we hope that his recovery will continue and that he will have many more opportunities to address us in this House. Thank you very much. I'm going to ask the Senate to approve the recommittal of item questions and answers to questions. I think Senator Morris. No. Yes, thank you, Senator Morris. I'm recommitting questions and answers to questions. It is clear that the minister is not going to be here. I think you wanted to just say something, or you're okay.
I hope that I will get the opportunity to ask these follow-up questions, notwithstanding us coming to the end of the political year, and that this matter could be dealt with early in the new financial.
The new dispensation. Thank you very much. And thank you very much. Members would have heard that, and I ask now that the item, motions that may be made at the commencement of public business requiring notice, be recommitted. Those in favor? Against? Ayes have it. Senator Hill.
Mr. President, I seek the recommittal of item notices of motions given orally. And I beg to give
it has been recommitted, so you can move along.
I can move on. So I beg to give notice that the next meeting of the Senate, I, the leader of the Senate, will move the following motion. Be it resolved, with reference to the sessional select, joint select and select committees, which are appointed in the current session of Parliament, and where these committees have not completed their deliberations, that in the new session, Mr. President of Parliament, this Honourable Senate will be empowered to enable these committees to proceed with the issues referred to them from the stage reached before prorogation. Be it further resolved, Mr. President, that the composition of all these committees remain unchanged except where necessary by further motion taken and approved by this Honourable Senate. And, Mr. President, be it further resolved, with reference to the matters identified below, which are included in the order of business in this session of Parliament, but for which deliberations have not been completed, that in the new session of Parliament, the Senate be empowered to proceed with them from the stage reached before prorogation. 1. Private members' motions 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Mr. President, I further beg to give notice that at a later stage today, I will move for the suspension of the standing orders to enable me to take this motion.
Thank you very much, Minister. I now ask for the recommittal of public business. Those in favor? Against? Minister?
Mr. President, I now move for the suspension of the standing orders to enable me to take the motion, notice of which I gave earlier.
Thank you very much. The question is that the standing orders be suspended to enable the minister to take the motion notice of which he gave earlier. Those in favor? Against? Minister?
Mr. President, it's not contemplated for us to do any further business today.
Yeah, I know, but before that you want to just ask for the motion. Ask for the motion to be approved.
Yes. Mr. President, I ask for the motion to conclude debate on the motion and ask that it be approved.
Thank you very much, Minister. Those in favor? Aye. Against? Ayes have it. Minister?
I can now then ask, Mr. President, it is not contemplated for us to do any further business today, therefore ask that the Senate be adjourned for a date to be fixed.
Thank you very much, but it would be remiss of me not to say thank you for all the members of the House, that is to say the security personnel, orderlies, our marshal, members of the clerk's office, and you would have noted that there have been some changes to the front of the Parliament, and Ms. Lowe has been acting as the clerk, and she has a team sitting to her left, and I would like you just to acknowledge the fact that we have been proceeding smoothly, and I thank you, Acting Clerk, for the work that you have done. This Honorable Senate now stands adjourned for a date to be fixed.
Jamaica, the land of Bob Marley, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, Usain Bolt, and of course, Reggae Month, the only month-long reggae music festival on planet Earth, where something reggae happens every day in the month of February, ranging from mega reggae concerts, reggae award ceremonies, and educational symposia on reggae. February is Reggae Month. Reggae Month is February, when Jamaica invites the world to come to Mecca, Reggae Mecca, and come catch the rhythm like no place else on earth, only in Jamaica.
And that's how I made to give him the glory. I'm delighted. Jano say my passion ignited. Got the music get me excited. I'm coming like a boy.
Who are fans of reggae music, just come out and support Reggae Month. Whatever we're doing, whatever we're keeping, just come out and support us. Because this is Jamaica and this is where reggae is from.
It is Reggae Month. Make sure you come out and celebrate in every Reggae Month event. A feel music, it is massive. It is powerful. Come out and celebrate Reggae Month.
The National Family Planning Board now presents a parenting tip from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Men are what their mothers made them.
Rotate the time and time to slow down. Cut the speed of the young pound ground. The road cold and up, play. Use the light in a night or day. Speed kills when you're in a hurry. Hit the child and then I cry sorry. But if you cut the speed, your body life will bleed. Wow, stop it and please. Just cut the speed. Taxi, bus driver, bike Motorists, please look out for us when you're crossing the road. Listen up.
Everyone has the right to freedom of expression, even our children.
My voice matters.
Every child has a right to speak up. It's not like they can stay quiet forever, and everything they have to say is important. So that's why I think my voice matters.
At school and at home, every child's voice should matter.
In this school, nobody is more and nobody is less.
My teachers, my parents, they know who I am because they understand me and they know what I understand from what I don't.
I will encourage the students to do their best. I will say even if they do not get something they want, they might get something even better.
When emotions are close to the surface and we contemplate on life, we will all remember the phrase, "A child shall lead them."
My voice matters.
The transformation of the force took a major step in 2023.
We continue to expand the quick response